Well, I posted a video about 3 minutes ago, and the questions I had in that video have been answered already. The Pittsburgh Steelers are releasing inside linebacker Myles Jack as they replace him with former Washington Commanders inside linebacker Cole Holcomb and former Miami Dolphin Alondo Roberts. The Steelers have a new regime at inside linebacker, something that a lot of people anticipated this offseason as Myles Jack carried an $11 million cap hit into the year. Cutting him saves the Steelers $8 million. They could easily reinvest that. I do not believe that Holcomb signed for anywhere near that. And I also would imagine that Roberts is a low number as well as he approaches the age of 30. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they probably made the right moves financially. They got two guys who were both captains on their teams last year. They both bring 100+ tackle seasons. Very impressive numbers, both of them. Robertson, for instance, is coming off his best season as a pro with the Miami Dolphins last season. I think it was 104 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 10 tackles for loss. Look, Jack played a good role in Pittsburgh, and I think Mike Tomlin and the defense very much so appreciated him. But when the inside linebacker market was going for much cheaper than a lot of people anticipated, outside of Tremaine Edmonds, everybody is anywhere from a $4 million to $6 million deal. It did not make any sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers to hold on to Jack and say, we will pay you $11 million this year for you to come in and give us the same amount of play as a lot of these guys on the open market. I think Jack had a good season last year. Wasn't great, wasn't very impressive. It was a very average year for a linebacker that's going to give you quality play time in and time out. But he suffered a groin injury at the end of the season. They very much so like Mark Robinson. I think that the Steelers are headed in a new direction with much cheaper talent on their roster now. It also allows them to head into the NFL draft and still have the flexibility to add a rookie if they'd like one. Trenton Simpson is obviously glowing on their radar right now. They took him out to dinner when they went to Clemson's Pro Day. It's a good move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Personally, I very much so enjoyed Myles Jack. I think he's a good guy. He's a great person with the media, which I always respect. He's a hard worker. Everybody in the locker room loves this guy. Mike Tomlin described him as he's a middle linebacker all the time. That's what he said. He's a middle linebacker at all times. I think that's exactly what you could describe Myles Jack at. I know that he'll get a job somewhere else. It's not as if his career is coming to an end. It will just be a much smaller payday for him. The Pittsburgh Steelers backloaded his last deal. This time around, it will be right where the market is, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will have two new guys heading into the season, and Myles Jack will have a new home at some point during free agency. But we now have answers to what the Pittsburgh Steelers are doing and why they signed two